Welcome to episode 9 of Run With. Today I talked to Jake Smith. Jake has just returned from the World Half Marathon Championships where he ran an amazing 60:31, putting him as the third fastest Brit of all time. Today I'm talking to Jake via Zoom as he is currently in lockdown in Wales, but I really hope that you enjoy the interview and you enjoy what Jake has to say. So hello and welcome to Run With. It's a slightly different kind of format for me. You're in lockdown at the moment, right?
Yes, yeah, it's been weird. Like it came on Friday and it's just a case of having to just get through it really. Hopefully it'll just be 17 days, but I don't have a clue.
You haven't got a clue.
Yeah.
Does it impact you much being in lockdown or not really?
Um, it was like because for the last lockdown when there was like the national lockdown, I went back home to Devon and it didn't really. It was almost like a blessing in disguise. It actually helped like my training and stuff like that. And because I live with Kieran here, so we're like he's working in Morrison's and stuff, so we're just having to get through each day. And normally I just train and sleep, so
Yeah.
it's not too bad anyway.
Yeah, good. Well, I guess that it is a bit of a blessing. I think maybe this year with lockdowns and stuff, with your training, be able to focus a bit more on it, maybe?
Yeah, so the best bit about it was that like with my training, so I was like having to train in the mornings, train in the evenings, and I was like getting as much recovery as I could.
Yeah,
Whereas like during without lockdown, we would have had like university and stuff. So I would have probably been more tired.
yeah,
And it was just you didn't really like I know it was quite stressful because you couldn't like see people, but then there was no stress to do anything else. Whereas like in normal day when without lockdown, you're having to think about more work and stuff like that. Whereas I had all the time in the world to do what I wanted, so I did. It wasn't too bad.
yeah, good. Okay, right. So I'm really excited to talk to you because you have had a hell of a couple of months on a bit of a PB streak.
Yeah, it's going quite well at the minute. Hopefully, it can carry on.
Yeah, awesome. But first of all, I'd really just love to share, how did you get into running? Why did you start running?
So, I was living in Hong Kong at the time, and it basically started off like I played football, rugby, hockey, all the different sports I could. And my parents were both like really into their running and doing all these different events. Because in Hong Kong, you have like all these weird events. You have like there's so many triathlons that go on. There's like this kayak run race, so you have to like run a specific distance and kayak to a different island and then run again. So they loved to have everything around there. And where we lived in Hong Kong, it was like in the mountain range. So my parents always took us for like walks and runs over it. So they first got me involved with it. And then when I was at the school, I joined like the cross country team and stuff like that. And I think from playing literally football, rugby almost every day, I just built up that aerobic fitness so quickly. And
Yeah.
I just managed to put it into the running. And yeah, it's paid off ever since.
Yeah, it sure has. And I take it that you started running and enjoyed it. So did you focus more on the running once you started your
But
running journey?
yeah, so it like I never really took it seriously until I was about 15, 16, and then I really like sat down. I still played football for like this Saturday Sunday league team. So yeah, I don't want the coaches to know that, but it was one of those things where like I absolutely loved it, and I loved the I just loved the like you get so much you feel just such a sense of achievement just completing a race or completing a session or work step or workout. So I was just loving it at the minute, and I think it's such a great sport. Like you go to different like London Marathon, you go to all these major marathons, and you just see the crowd support. Even if you're not a runner, there's people going to be out there who are cheering you on.
Mm,
Whereas it's just an amazing sport, really, and I'm just so glad to be involved in it.
yeah, love that. So when did you move to the UK?
I was 16, so it was
16.
yeah, it was like the perfect time because I have two younger sisters, and the youngest one was about to start a new school, and the other one was about to start GCSEs, and I was going into A levels, so it
Hmm.
was like the perfect time to move back.
Yeah. Fab. Amazing. Right. So we're going to talk about your amazing running streak because you are on fire at the moment. And I think Sunday was just, you were so emotional crossing the line, weren't you? It
Yeah,
was just like, wow, you can see how much it meant to you because I think it was the quickest half marathon time, the third quickest half marathon time for, um,
yeah, yeah. So it's the third quickest in British history,
Yeah.
behind Mo Farah and Callum Hawkins.
Hawkins.
And it was quite funny because I was just looking at the it shows you the dominance of the Africans. I was looking at like what place I am in the world, like in history, and
Mm.
then compared it to Europeans. And in the world, I'm 367th, like ever. But
Mm.
in Europe, I'm 15th fastest ever. And it
Wow.
just shows you like the difference between like the Europeans and Africans.
Yeah.
So but I think I was saying to some people, I think the fact that I'm like now the third quickest Brit is just something else, and to be behind the likes of Mo Farah and Callum Hawkins, who have achieved so much in their hit careers,
Yeah.
I hope I can be as good as them.
Yeah. Wow. Definitely, because you are so young as well in your running career as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I'm only 22, so I still hopefully have a few more years in me.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. You've got plenty. I hope they're quaking in their boots because you've got time on your hands. And so you've also PB'd at the 5K and 10K in the since September, is that right?
Yeah, so I think because in well during lockdown, before my break before like this build up to the World Half, I did a 10K on the track, and I
Yeah.
had some of the boys pace me around, and I ran 28 flat there, and I knew I was like, okay, I'm in really good shape. Let's have a bit of a break and get back into World Half. And then I got like I ran at the British Champs, I ran 13:47, but it was like I didn't like taper for anything. I just like because that wasn't the main aim. The
So
World
was
Half
that kind
was.
of just like included in your normal training week? Just go and do
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, it was quite funny because I'd done like one proper speed session before it. Like the fastest lap I'd run was like a 70-second lap when I averaged 66 like the week before. So I was like, oh, I'm not expecting much. And then to come away with a PB was really nice.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
And then the 10K, it was quite funny because I ran 28:50 there, but then at the World Half, my first 10K split was 28:23. So I think the big thing for me, it shows like when you do taper, it does really, really help. Because
Mm.
before the 5 and 10K, I was still training completely through it. And
Yeah.
then before the World Half, I properly tapered for it. And I just had that like little bit extra. I was working at 100%, whereas last time I would have been working at like 85, 90.
Yeah. Yeah. So what would like a typical training week look like for you?
Um, so it's like I was looking back through it, and it is very, very like extremely tough. And like on a Monday, I normally do like a progression in the morning and then a recovery run in the evening. And this progression can go from anywhere from like 6-10 miling down to 5-10, and it sometimes even five flat at times.
Mm.
Um, a Tuesday, a recovery run in the morning, then it's like a big session in the evening. Wednesday's just a single recovery run with S&C. Thursday's a steady, and my steadies were getting quite quick. So I was going almost like 8 miles at 5:20, and then a recovery run in the evening. Friday's like a recovery run in the morning, then a session in the evening. Saturday's the nice day, it's just a small, small jog. And then Sunday, I did some really big long runs, fast long runs. So when I was like looking at my like average pace for the week and I was hitting like 90 to 100 miles at like 6 minute miling for like the whole time in
That's
terms
crazy.
of like the average pace, that including recovery run. So I find that really does make me fit because I'm like training at this pace for the whole week, and I
Mm.
just felt like it really paid off.
Yeah, amazing. What would you say is your favorite run out of all of that in your week?
It is quite nice when you get back from like a fast long run. I think that's really good fun because it's like it's one of those you get back and you're like, oh wow, I've run that far, I've run that quick,
Mm.
and aerobically you get so much benefit from it.
Mm. Do you do what we all do? So you get back from your long run and you're there on like Strava and Garmin looking at your stats, like
Yeah.
check it all
Yeah,
out.
I love looking at that stuff, and it's almost comparing to old long runs, and so I love that sort of stuff.
Yeah, amazing. And you do strength and conditioning. Is
Yes.
that a couple of times a week?
So I only do it twice a week, and it has been very tough during lockdown because I haven't had access to a gym or anything. So I've mainly focused on more body weighted exercises,
Yeah,
and I have found I've got really fit from it.
yeah.
I just haven't for this next block, so I'll be focused on more shorter stuff. I'm hoping to get like access to a gym because you'll need more explosive spout power and stuff like that. But I haven't been able to do that over lockdown because well, gyms haven't been open.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, so it has really paid off. Like Kira and I wrote like a proper training program. We start off with core work and then we follow like a similar routine to most weeks, and well, dependent on the session or something the day before, but it has really paid off.
Yeah, amazing. So it's important for everybody to include it, I think, strength and
Yeah. I,
conditioning.
I
No,
think
sorry.
oh, I think it like you said, it's really I think it is really important because one of the big things for me is like I haven't really got injured or anything for the last 3 years. And I think as well, I've been shown all these different techniques. So I do foot drills before going into different exercises, and I haven't been injured really.
And do you put it down to doing all of that?
Yeah, I find it really does help because the number of miles I'm doing on the road, I am getting a lot of pressure on my legs, and
Mm,
just to be able to work on flexibility and just making my like calves, Achilles stronger has really paid off.
mm,
And I find by doing that, I haven't got injured in the last 4 years.
yeah, amazing. So everybody has to keep on top of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you've PB'd 5K, 10K, half marathon. What's your favorite distance to race?
I, I do love I do love the half marathon. I think like when I was racing the world half and I just got into such a good flow with the group and stuff. It was just so fun.
Mm,
And it's quite because I haven't really done the speed work or anything this over this last block. It's quite like a consistent pace and you can hold it for quite a while. Whereas when I do like the 5K, that's horrible because it's just almost feels like a sprint now.
I bet. Super. Yeah. Okay. Um, and you paced at London Marathon as well, didn't you?
Yeah. That was an incredible cheat. Just to be there was amazing
I was gonna
because
say, yeah,
we had to isolate in the hotel from Friday,
yeah.
and it was just so funny. You were just like at the dinner table and Kipchoge would just eat next to you or something, or on the bus he was
Amazing.
just in front of me, and it was such a shame about like the result, but like Bekele didn't race, and but it was amazing, and just to be there, like because I've never been to like Buckingham Palace before or anything, or seen the London Marathon, and just to go round it, like round that circuit, and just help the guys out. Because I was pacing Brett Robinson, like he asked me to like during the race, he was like, "Oh, help me out," and I said, "No, I'm more than happy to help," because we were going at the pace they needed. Unfortunately, I had to pull out, but he was looking so good, and just she sent me a message after the race saying thank you so much, and he had like a stitch or something about 29K in. But
Mm,
just to get that message off like one of the best runners in Australia was something else as well.
yeah, amazing. I mean, it was a pretty hard day anyway, wasn't it, with the weather?
Yeah, the thing is, like, I think me living in the UK, I was loving it. It was like actually, it was chucking it down. It was cold. It was quite. I felt quite bad for like the Africans because you stood on the start line and they're so small and they just look so cold. And
Yeah,
I was just there like, oh, I'm loving this. This is all right. This isn't too
yeah,
bad.
you're in your element.
Yeah.
Um, um, any plans to have a crack at the marathon yet, or you're going to leave that
Yeah,
for a while?
I've been asked that quite a lot. I'm not gonna do it for quite a few years because I think I would rather get quick on the shorter stuff. Like I saw when I was like in the World Cup, a good example would be at about 15K when the top guys just went. They were just able to do that because they've run so much quicker than me over shorter stuff,
Mm.
and that's what because I want to like in the future like win medals and stuff. So I know I need to work on my leg turnover. So I'm gonna just focus on some shorter stuff for the next few years, get a bit quick, and then hopefully the marathon will be something I can look forward to.
Yeah, definitely. Well, again, you've got time on your side, haven't you? You know, you
Yes.
are young, so spend some time on the short stuff.
Yes.
Um, okay, I want to talk about the World Half because it was an amazing race and it was great to watch it. You mean it was just
Yeah.
like, oh, look at him, he's there and he's staying there. And did you expect to come away with that time at all? Were you aiming for that? Was there a plan in place?
I think because the only thing I compare it to is when I ran 62 flat in Paris and big half, and my training during lockdown was I was smashing my times in sessions, and I knew I wanted to get the ultimate aim was to get as close as 61 minutes. But then I think when we went through 10K in 28, 23, I gave a thumbs up to Helen Clitheroe, and she was like, oh, I said something like, I'm still in this.
Yeah.
But when I saw the time at like 10 to 15K, I knew I was absolutely flying and I felt so good. And to just cross that line, like you said about the emotions, it just all kicked in when I crossed that line. And I think another big thing for me is like 18th in the world at like how old I am. I was just so happy with, and to be the second European, I think that puts me in good limelight for other European races.
It's amazing, absolutely amazing. And you were so focused in the race. It was really inspiring
Yeah,
to watch. It was really, really good.
thank you.
Um, okay. Another thing I want to talk to you about is you're type 1 diabetic, is that right?
No, I'm actually I
No.
don't have any. I'm not diabetic or anything. It was actually a glucose like it. So I've got so many messages, but basically, have you heard of Super Sapiens?
No.
They're this company who have now released these biosensors, and
Okay.
they've just so they got in contact with my agent. So Jenny Nesbitt and I wore them for the London Marathon,
Yeah.
and they basically just tell you download the app. They haven't been released or anything yet, but it's so good. They tell you your glucose levels, so like what range you're in. And I found it really helped me because I wore it for London, and I found that after 40 minutes my glucose levels went down so low, and I
Yeah.
wasn't really able to work at my best ability. And so when I spoke to them after, they said, "Oh, maybe eat something else before the race," and that's what I did before World Half. And you can see on the graph, my glucose levels were so much better than what they were before.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not, I'm in a bit of a partnership with them now, just trying to get them, um, just more well known because they were actually originally just a cycling brand, so they have like a cycling company in the Tour de France.
Yeah.
So and they're all the guys who are part of this company do have diabetes, but they want to get more well known in the running community. So they just got in contact with us, and I said I'm more than happy to help out.
Yeah. I
But
find it really interesting because I wear a Libre
oh
because
yeah,
of diabetes.
oh
So
really?
obviously my glucose is controlled by insulin, but it does impact my running. But I find it really interesting that that a normal athlete with not with diabetes can kind of look into the glucose side of it and
Yeah,
find out how it's impacting your runs
yeah,
and your training. So do you find, are you going to use that to kind of have a look at how you fuel your running?
yes. I think it like I found it really helped me because like after when I ate and stuff, I would like look at the glucose levels, make sure I was still in the range throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly I haven't felt without their device, I haven't felt that as good as I did before the race. It
Mm.
was quite funny. I looked at it right before, it was about 10 minutes before, and it hit about 210 ml or something. So it was the highest it could actually get to. And I
Yeah.
think that was like the nerves and stuff. But I do put my hands up for them getting in touch with me because right before the World Half, I might not have eaten what I did, but because I found out more information from them,
Yeah.
I had all the energy in the world for the race.
Did you check it after the race? Had you like kind of gone down, depleted your levels?
Yeah, it depleted quite a lot during the race, and it was really interesting to see what it was throughout the day. And I wore it for like I've worn it for the last 6 days. I've just taken it out, but because I've done absolutely nothing and just ate so much so much stuff, it's quite
Yeah.
funny to see the different levels. But no, I'm really happy to be like working with them,
Yeah.
and I do think they are such a good company.
So how's your recovery look like? You've just been kicking back a bit since the race?
Yeah, I've done absolutely nothing. I've just like drunk a lot of alcohol, eaten a lot, so I'm just enjoying it really.
When you're
I have
training,
another. Sorry.
I guess you've got to cut out a lot of stuff. So
Yeah, that's the thing because I was like, I got really like I got for the last 3 months I've been really good, and I've made sure I've eaten properly because there are some foods which you don't every runner doesn't want to eat before like a run or anything because they might feel unwell. So these last 10 days has been very nice, and it's quite nice to wake up like every morning and not have to run, just sit there for a little longer in bed. So
yeah.
has been really good.
Any hangovers this week?
Yeah, I've had a I was quite sick on one of the nights, so
Wow, you've earned
yeah,
it. You've earned it. I
I'm
don't know.
not sure I'm used to the drinking again, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, yeah, brilliant. Okay, so you said you're going to concentrate on the shorter stuff now. So does
Yes.
that mean going back to 5K, 10K, or?
Oh, it's actually a bit shorter. James wants me to see how fast I can run for the mile. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
yeah. So there's some really good athletes in Cardiff. So like Kieran, who I live with, James Hennigan, Piers ran 3:35 for 15 this year. So I
Mm.
do think they're going to put me away in some of the sessions, but I just want to challenge myself over something new and just enjoy the training.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's your mile PB at the moment?
Oh, it's about 4:12, so I want to see how close I can get to that 4 minutes, as close as I can.
Yeah, yeah. But it sounds like it'll make it a bit fun, leading up to Christmas and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Because there are races coming like every now and then. Like you see every weekend, there's different races under like the COVID restrictions, and I think the ultimate aim is to try and run the Olympic qualifying time for the 10K. But I
Mhm.
think over these next 2-3 months, if I can get quicker, the pace I need for the 10K will feel easier. So
Yeah,
that's the ultimate goal.
that makes sense. And is that something you're going to work at next year?
Yes, so it's 27:28 the Olympic qualifying time, and I'm going to race at the Peyton Jordan in Stanford in America.
Okay.
It's like early May.
Yeah.
So we're thinking of doing like a bit of a training camp out in America for 5 weeks and just seeing how that goes. And then that will be the ultimate goal. That'll be the race I just go for, see how close I can get to that time. And then if I do get the time, I have to run at Highgate and hopefully get to the Olympics.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Well,
I
you
know.
certainly I mean how this year's gone for you, you got it all there. And you do work with James, is it James Thee you work with?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
how long have you been coached by him?
oh, I've been coached since I came to university. So I didn't really have a coach or any structure before uni, and he's just brought me in and he's been my lecturer and my personal tutor during uni, so I literally see him every day of the week. So has
Yeah,
been quite interesting.
yeah, amazing. I bet he was super proud of you on Sunday.
Yeah, I gave him a call like almost after the race, and he was like, I just thanked him because he has been like, even though COVID has changed the whole way the world's run, he has been there for most sessions and stuff like that. So he has really helped me, and I would like to thank him because I wouldn't have been able to run the time. He has got me into contact with other people and the training group. Like I think the training group at Cardiff Met is one of the best in the UK. So it's just I have such a good um, training regime here. So I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, so it's really good. I'm I'm just so chuffed for you because
Oh,
it's
thank
just
you.
really good. And I think all your hard work's obviously paying off, and long may
Yeah.
it continue. And it's exciting. You've got to be excited, right? Because you've got to think, oh, what else?
Yeah. So I think like the first few days of this break, I was like, oh, I can't be asked to run, but now like I'm because of these new challenges and thinking like how quickly time goes by, like before you know it I'll be going to America and stuff. So it's a case of I'm just so excited to resume training again and just see what I can run over the shorter stuff.
And it's an amazing experience. I mean, obviously I've not done it, but going out for America for 5 weeks to train for a race, going out for a training camp, it's all, really good life experience as
Yeah,
well.
I it's quite weird because I was saying to my parents, I was like, okay, you look at the top 30, 40 in that race at World Half. I'm pretty sure most of them would be training at altitude at some point in their life, and I've never been there, and I'm just in Cardiff. And if you
Mm.
said to them, yeah, he's just come 18th training in Cardiff, they'd be like, no way. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's a case of
amazing.
yeah, just going out there, and it's quite cool because the guy I was sharing the room with, Moad, and he's for some reason he knows everyone who was at the race, and I think because he has done quite a few stints in Kenya and Ethiopia. So I've actually been asked to go to Uganda and Kenya for some training with some training camps. So it's just a case of seeing where we're allowed to go next year.
But that
So
would be amazing, right?
I think for me, like I've heard so many good things. Like everyone's heard good things about Kenya and Ethiopia, but I was talking to someone about Uganda, and apparently it seems unreal. So that's that, and you see like the likes of Jacob Kiplimo and Cheptegei, like that is a place I really, really want to go to.
Are you framing the team pick with Chapter Guy?
Yeah, it was. I think that just like ended the weekend so well because it just showed like we were such a close team anyway, and just to have a photo with the 5K, 10K world record holder, and he's such a genuine guy. It was really nice. Like it was a fanboy moment. So it was just everyone just in the photo just ended the weekend so well.
Yeah, you could see how pleased you all were, kind of like getting in
I
there.
know, I know. And it was funny. He just wanted a photo. So and he
Yeah,
actually retweeted it about British athletics, which was even better.
amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, it's been amazing speaking to you. I just wanted to ask you before we go, what are your number one tip that you can pass on to anybody who loves their running, training hard? What's your tip for them?
I think, well, I mean, for youngsters, a lot of youngsters have messaged me about it. And this is like youngsters aiming at like 10, 16 years old. I found, because I never went to English schools track or anything, like I was way off the time for the 3K. I only went to school, to English school cross country. And my big tip for them is just play every sport you can. Like I built such a strong aerobic base from such playing other sports. And there's no need for like a 14, 15-year-old to be focusing on athletics because I find if you focus on it too much, you're just going to let it go or lose the love for it. So that's my tip for them. And then for older athletes, I do find like the big thing for me is consistency. Like, well, I'll use an example. My mum. My mum isn't the best at consistency. She has been better this during lockdown, but it's a case of she'll almost do like a few runs a week and then be like, oh, I can't do this now, and then say to herself, oh, I'll start again next week. So it's just literally just putting your head down, getting this consistency in, because that's what I've been doing for the last 3 years, and it has really paid off. It might mean like you might have to change run, not be able to do a session, but just going out there and enjoying it, that's the aim of the game, really.
Yeah, amazing. I think that's brilliant advice. Consistency is key. Um,
Yeah.
and I love that you encourage youngsters to just play sports.
No, I think that's a big thing because I've seen so many. There's been so many youngsters who've messaged me saying, "Oh, how do I run quicker over 5K?" And I'm like, you're 14 years old. Just play sports. Just because with the running, like especially during lockdown, it has been very individual.
Mm,
And Kieran and I have just been training together, but you see, everyone hasn't been able to be part of a group, and that is what running is. And
mm,
there's no point for youngsters to have just be training by themselves at such a young age. Just go out, socialize with friends, and they will build a strong aerobic base without even knowing. So I
yeah,
think that's a big that's my aim for them really. And once they're like 18, 19, and they actually want to focus on the running, maybe stop the other sports, but just enjoy themselves until then.
yeah, amazing. No, I love that. It's great. Well, thank
Yeah,
you very much for taking the time out to speak to me.
that's absolutely fine.
It's been a pleasure speaking to you, and congratulations, massive congratulations once again for your
Thank you so
performance
much.
at the World Halves. And actually for the last couple of months because you have been nailing it. Um,
Yeah, I've like been really fortunate. I think I do feel sorry for a lot. Like I was looking Matt on YouTube, and it's just I feel so bad for everyone because all their races have been cancelled, and that's a big thing for me. I've just been so fortunate this race was on, so I do feel like I put my hands up. Like I do feel sorry for everyone who hasn't been able to race, but hopefully there are more races coming up.
I guess though that with races cancelled, that we've all kind of got to find out why we run.
Yeah,
And we, at the end of the day, we run for ourselves for enjoyment, unless it's your career, you know. Um, but I think it's kind of good to kind of take it a step back and
no, I know
discover running for running, not just for
exactly.
races, I guess.
And when races become normal again, everyone's just going to be more excited than they ever were. So that'll
Yeah,
be even better.
yeah. Although the time trial formats are quite fun, I quite enjoy it because it's no nonsense. You just turn up.
And I think that was a big thing with when I did the 10K on the track, the time trial. Like when you go to a race, it's you have to start at 9 o'clock or you have to start at 10:30. Whereas I was like 20 minutes late. I was like, I don't mind. I just waited for the guys to get off the track who was cycling around and playing football in the middle. So time trials
Great.
have been really good as well.
Amazing. Okay, well that's it. Anything else that you want to add? Any other bits of advice for anybody, or
Um,
any more
no,
thanks?
not really. I think I'm all done.
Any drinking tonight, or are we nailing it? Going back down now?
I've start. Yeah, there probably will be over the next 3 days until I start training again. Then I might
Make the
bring it
most of
back a
it.
little bit. Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to
Thank you
talk to
very
me
much.
today. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Run With. Really hope that you've enjoyed. I've added all of Jake's links below, Strava, Instagram, so you can go and give him a follow and go and give him some support in his next venture, whether it's the mile or the 10K again next year. If you have enjoyed this video, please do make sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe and share. Other than that, I will see you very soon, where I will be sharing my interview with Marcus Brown at the Marathon Marcus, talking all about his amazing achievements lately, bringing his marathon time down from 4:55 down to a storming sub 3. Other than that, stay safe and happy running.